Mazars, the auditing firm working with Binance and other crypto exchanges on proof of reserve statements, has paused all work for crypto clients. This comes as a new report from CryptoQuant says that Binance is not the next FTX. Joining us now to discuss is CryptoQuant senior analyst Julio Moreno. Julio, great to have you on the show. So you are a Seoul-based analytics firm, and you're pointing to on-chain data to support claims made in a recent audit that Binance is over-collateralized. Can you explain that for us?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. Yes, as you said, Binance disclosed its proof of reserve report conducted by an external auditor. And the report finds that Binance has their customer deposits collateralized by 97%. And 101% after they made some adjustments for the Bitcoin that they lent to customers. And, this report came with some critics. Some other analysts criticized the report because the auditor made no representation regarding the appropriateness of the procedure, and they didn't express their professional opinion. So what we did is, this is crypto. You don't have to trust. You have to verify. And what we did is we verified if the numbers presented there make sense. So we, as a on-chain data company, we track the exchanges reserves, the exchanges deposits, and how much of their customer deposits they're holding. And so our data in the day that this audit was conducted, it is 99% the same. So it's for us, at least at that point in time, the on-chain data that we provide proves that the assets are there and they match with the liabilities of their customers.
So, Julio, you're saying, in effect, that even though Mazars has taken out that report and taken it offline, that report is basically correct. Is that what you're saying?
We're saying that at that point in time, the data that they reported as liabilities, as customer deposits, matches with our estimation of what Binance holds in their addresses, in their wallets. So that's the verification that we did. I cannot comment on why they take the report down, but we just are verifying their data with ours.
And you say that Binance is not FTX-like in the way it's behaving and the way in the way that customers can actually get their funds out. Yet there have been serious amounts of outflows, or there were serious amounts of outflows. Seems that's died down now. Nonetheless, that's still occurring, correct? You're not denying that there are funds leaving Binance relative to more so than funds coming into it. You're just saying that if the funds do leave, that there is the ability to pay it off, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, we've seen actually, as you said, record high outflows when measuring in Bitcoin terms, the amount of Bitcoins. And if we analyze those outflows as relative to the reserves that they hold, there is not a situation that we haven't seen in the past for Binance. There are many other situations, other times when these outflows also spike as a percentage of the reserves that they hold. So it's really similar to those other periods that you can see, for instance, on the COVID crash and on March 2020. You can see that also a similar pattern when the Terra Luna situation happened back in May. So it's really similar to that. So yes, of course there are outflows, but every day there are outflows and inflows to exchanges.
Have you been able to compare the Binance volume of outflows to FTX? Do you see any similarities, differences?
Yeah, two main differences. The first is that when the FTX happened, their reserves were basically zero a few days before everything unwinded. The FTT
Could you see
token
that on chain?
collapsed. Yes, that's right. We track the reserves of all exchanges, and you could see FTX reserves, Bitcoin reserves, Ethereum reserves, of stablecoin reserves. Basically, they were zero a few days before that, and so that's one. And the other one is like when you are trying to estimate the holdings of the exchange reserves, there are some exchanges that we can do that easier. There are some exchanges that their wallet management is easier for us to estimate. They don't move their holdings much. They tend to have the same addresses always, and so over time it's easier for us to estimate. And that's the case of Binance. That has been the case for Binance. In the case, for instance, of FTX, it was really difficult to estimate because they moved in and out a lot of the reserves. So you see spikes of, reserves increasing 2 or 3 times one day and then back down to the previous level. So that's also an indication of that the exchange is behaving differently.
Do you suppose that the run-up in Bitcoin recently was tied at least to some of the funds leaving Binance, some of the Bitcoin leaving Binance? Do you suppose that there's been sort of because of the issues with stablecoins, that people may have bought Bitcoin as a way to get out of Binance, as the way to physically remove funds, if you will, from Binance by using Bitcoin rather than stablecoins?
It's difficult to say that that's why Bitcoin increased, because there's a lot of macro also involved on these price movements. The price increased like 3-4% in the last few days because of the inflation data, and then we're coming down again because of the Fed message that we got yesterday. So I think it's difficult because there's too much information that plays out in the price movements.